Well, this game could not have started any worse if you're a Kings fan. They did get themselves back into the game in the second quarter, but they're down 64-58 against a team that has owned them this year. But you're down 23 points in the first quarter. It's like the team wasn't ready to play, Rhino.
I think the scheme was wrong, Grant. They were doubling Valanciunas. The Kings were constantly rotating and just on the balls of their feet and not able to set. And they did that different in the second quarter, and it made a world of difference.
64-58, 24 minutes left in this season to have a chance to guarantee a playoff spot. If you lose tonight, then you're a play-in, and the question is, are you going to be a 7th seed, 8th seed, 9th seed, or 10th seed? So there's a lot to play for here in the next half. De'Aaron Fox is trying to do everything. I mean, he played 19 minutes. He scored 17 points. Keegan Murray's doing nothing at all, nothing offensively. I mean, he's just nothing.
He's gotten open looks. He's just missed. But his movement's been okay, Napes. It's been okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying his production is invisible offensively.
Correct. Yes.
That's the. I'm not. I'm just saying. You're getting nothing from your bench other than one guy, Davion Mitchell. I got to believe that's going to have to change in the second half. Somebody other than De'Aaron Fox is going to have to get going.
100%. You see Keegan trying to get going. You see Harrison trying to get going. But Grant, the one I'm looking at is Domantas Sabonis. With Zion possibly injured, you saw Sabonis get going there at the end of the second quarter. You got some offensive rebounds. That's where it's got to happen for the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, the third quarter, listen, I don't want to overdo this, but this could be the biggest quarter of basketball the Kings are going to play this year because we know how often they've come out of the locker room and gotten steamrolled in the third. So, I mean, I'm looking at this third quarter and thinking, wow, this may be the biggest third quarter they play all season.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you have to say it is the biggest third quarter because it's going to affect their seeding in the Western Conference play-in or possibly small chance to get into the 6th seed, very tiny. But I expect them to come out okay, Grant. They've weathered the storm in this game, and if they continue to focus how they are in the perimeter and extend their defense, they've shown New Orleans a different look that I think's throwing them off a little bit.
It's very frustrating, though, to come out and be down 34-11 in what is the biggest game of the season, right? I mean, you just have to – it can't happen. I don't care what the score is right now. There's something wrong in the biggest game of the year to come out. But what do we always say? First game back after a long road trip. Is that what it was? Because it certainly looked like they were very lethargic.
I wouldn't put it at that. I think it's just a Pelicans problem, Grant. You look at what the Kings have done this season against the Pelicans. They're average -21 per game in 4 meetings. The Pelicans have shot it incredibly from beyond the arc against the Kings in the 4 meetings, and that continued in that first quarter and some into the second. So that really is where the game's going to lie, Grant.
Yeah, I'm not that confident. I know you are. I'm not. Yeah. I think the Pelicans are going to win this game. And I think that they're going to win this game 124 to 119. I think it's going to be close. But right now, I have no confidence in the Kings. How could I have confidence in them in watching what they've been doing recently? I just don't see it. I mean, I just don't see it right now. There's De'Aaron Fox, and as you said, Sabonis needs to get going. What the hell's going on with Murray offensively? I mean, there's just too many guys that aren't getting the job done. And De'Aaron Fox can't just carry the whole team by himself.
No, Grant, the Kings had 2 assists in the first quarter. 2 assists.
2. Yep.
And I know De'Aaron's scoring, but that means there's dribbling. That means that they're probably not sharing the ball. And the Kings, here's the thing, Grant, they've gotten stops. They've had stretches of stops in this game. So again, I think one thing that we didn't look at, Mike Brown got Sabonis moving towards the second half of the second quarter. Instead of throwing him the ball in the post, he has him coming off of a little roll or a little screen. And New Orleans, they don't like to move as much on defense. So I think, Grant, although this has been your prototypical Kings not showing up in a big game, it's been in a different way to me with a little bit more optimism.
Well, they're not getting enough stops. I can tell you that. I mean, the reality is it's a 24-minute half, and they gave up 64 points and allowed their opponent to shoot 52% from the floor and 57% from three. I would agree with you. There was a period in that second quarter where they did get, I know you charted, they did get some stops, but overall, it's going to have to be a hell of a lot better. It just is. It's going to have to be a lot better in the second half.
No doubt. Before you get to Jerry, I just want to say this. It wasn't so much the Kings not making shots when they were getting stops. It was shot selection. They took bad shots. Clean that up.
Jerry Reynolds joins us. Jerry, the game couldn't have started off any worse for Sacramento. I mean, before you even were in your seat, it was 34-11.
Yeah, it was just absolutely the worst example of Kings basketball that you could ever see for such a big game. Having said that, hey, they're in a great spot now. I thought they truly outplayed the Pelicans in the second quarter. And are within range. The defense is picked up. They're forcing the Pelicans into turnovers. So if you get that kind of effort, and the second half, definitely Kings got a chance to win this ball game. Now, having said all that, I mean, McCollum and Murphy, I don't guess they're going to miss any threes.
No.
I mean, it's just remarkable shooting, but they've done it all year. They're right at the top of the league. So hopefully the Kings can do a little better job. I mean, making it tougher on them. I don't know that you can totally stop them, but I thought with Zion hasn't really been a factor, and they've done a nice job there. So, I think if you're Mike Brown and, with after that start, you got to feel good, and the players have got to feel like, hey, we outplayed them. They finally outplayed this team for a quarter, and that's the first time all year.
Great point. And Jerry, let me ask you this. Was it so much about what the Kings did defensively to change things in the second quarter, not doubling Valanciunas, or was it more of the Kings putting more attention on Murphy and McCollum?
Well, I thought it was, putting more pressure on the ball. I don't know why you feel like you got to double Valanciunas. I mean, it just opens up passing.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good player. But, he's a guy they expect to get 12, 15 points and 7, 8 rebounds. So the other guys are the problem. So, yeah, I think that they went to really kind of staying home and especially pressuring the ball and especially the wing guys and the dribblers and getting a second defender running at them when they put the ball on the floor. And that was far more effective.
Also got to see what's the deal with Zion Williamson who went to the locker room. I'm not seeing a report. I mean, if he does not play in the second half and the Kings don't win this game, then I don't know what the hell it would take for them to beat New Orleans. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it's at. And, the Kings, like I say, that actually the first half here, all things considered, is probably the best half they've played against the Pelicans almost. So
how scary is that?
Yeah. That is scary. Well, they're a tough matchup, and
yeah, they are.
You can see that. I mean, they are legitimately a top level team talent wise, and the bench depth they have. Obviously, the Kings don't have that right now. Although Davion and Keon Ellis have been really bright spots, I think, for this team. And since the injuries, you're finding out that Davion's a player and Keon Ellis is a player.
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry,
but
you said
the bench is shallow, though, right, guys? I mean, right now Mitchell's the only one doing anything on the bench. That's hard to win without bench production in this league, guys.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's 3-point shooting, so it's either gonna go in or it's not. And you got Trey Lyles, Sasha out there, Davion's making a couple. I think what you saw from Alex is what you're gonna get. Jerry, do you expect any more firepower anywhere else?
No, you'd like to have gotten something from Vesnikov, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I was pleased with Harrison Barnes. I thought, he was one of the bright spots, of course, along with Fox was brilliant. Fox really kept him within range most of that first half. So, no, you're not going to get a lot from your bench, and you're going to have to win it with your starters. And I think, Keegan's going to have a strong half, and basically I think Barnes just keep doing what he's doing, and you'll have a chance. You'll have a chance.
Yeah, Keegan's just not shooting the ball well at all right now. I mean, they're just not falling, Jerry.
No, and I think he's taking some tougher shots than he needs to. I
Yeah.
mean, he's kind of stepping away, and his ball's gotten a little flatter. When he goes through bad stretches, the ball doesn't have much arch on it. When he's at his best, you see that nice free flowing arch shot that swishes. So you just hope he'll get comfortable and get a one to go in early, and then we know he's capable of a tear, and that's what the Kings need.
Yeah, Jerry, I feel like Mike Brown did a little bit better job of adjusting in this game. And one of the adjustments I thought I noticed was he's getting Domantas Sabonis moving towards the hoop when they try to get him the ball. Same thing with Harrison and maybe Keegan. Is there an opportunity for the Kings to have an advantage there?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think that's exactly right. I think if the real strength of the Pelicans is their wings, and they're really good there, and so really attack the basket. I thought they did a great job against the Pelican zone. They really did get inside there. Now the key really, I think, is what Coach Brown will do and Coach Green, both for the adjustments. There'll be adjustments at half, and I think whichever coach probably makes the best adjustments probably is going to win the game. It may be that if I were the Kings, I would try to put more pressure on the wings. I'd pick up sooner, and even though you're thin, but it's one game. Play it like it's game 7. Pick up pressure, get the ball out of McCollum and Murphy's hands if you can.
All right, I want to get to this question. Can you explain how you come out flat in the biggest game of the year on your own home court? Makes me nervous for any type of play-in-game situation. I hate to make excuses in a game of this magnitude. I really do. But the Kings just got back from a long East Coast trip, and it's one day off in the first game. And we see that all too often, Jerry. I hate to make an excuse for a game like that, but that's been a typical pattern.
It has for decades. I mean, It really has. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses either. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Right.
I've seen it happen so much, and that's not just the Kings. I mean, every team.
Yes.
Every team. Almost in all cases, you see flat games after a long road trip. I don't know why, and it's a great question, but I don't have an answer. But you sure.
The good news is they woke up. So whatever that's now in the past, because the second quarter was a outstanding second quarter for Sacramento. So you can look at that as a positive.
Yeah, it's 24 minutes now, and whoever plays the best second half is going to win. And the Kings, obviously the Pelicans easily won the first quarter. The Kings solidly won the second quarter. Now let's go see who wins the second half.
I'm going to go on record, guys, and I'm going to say whoever wins the fast break and transition game right now, the Pelicans are up a couple on the Kings 15-12. That's who's going to win the games, because I think that's where the Kings have to get in the passing lanes and generate the offense from defense. They do that, they win this game 115 to 107.
I think you make a good point, and I think if the Kings can win the trend, that means the Pelicans aren't getting so many open threes, and that is really a key. So, just the eternal optimist that I am, I'm saying the Kings win 112-111.
I don't care.
If Zion Williamson's okay, the Pelicans will win this game. And I would also say, we keep on talking about that this is going to be the biggest half of basketball that the Kings play this year. You could make the same point for New Orleans. They have to play at Golden State tomorrow, and then they're home against the Lakers. And they know what's at stake. If they win this game, okay, they get it, okay? They've got a lot to play for too. So this is truly going to be a playoff-type basketball game in the second half. All right. And when we come on at the end of the game, there's no excuses anymore. There's no now if Fox gets hurt in the first 2 minutes of the second half, we can use that as an excuse. But I'm trying to make a point. That's it. Roll the ball out and let's see what you have. Both teams are playing for a lot in this second half.
Well said.
That's exactly where it is. I mean, it's whatever you got, show it. And may the best team win, and hopefully the best team would be Sacramento tonight.
Yeah, take it for what it's worth. Zion is out of the locker room, but he is not currently warming up. Some guys don't always warm up after halftime, so proof will be in the pudding when the ball goes up in the air for the third.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Boy, let's bring the A game early.
We'll talk to you tomorrow at halftime. Good stuff from Jerry and Rhino. We'll be back on in a little more than an hour. We'll see if the beam is lit tonight in Sacktown. Thanks, everyone. Again, enjoy the second half. Right here after the game, we'll break it down, and we invite your calls. So give us a call. Let's chat about the game right after it's all over.